Once upon a time, in a land far away, there lived a young couple who were deeply in love. Their hearts brimmed with dreams and hopes, but there was one longing that overshadowed all others. They desperately wanted to have a child. After much anticipation, the young lady discovered she was expecting a baby, and the couple was overjoyed. However, as the days passed, the young woman found herself gazing out of the window, captivated by the lush, vibrant lettuce garden that belonged to their neighbor, a powerful witch. She had never been particularly fond of lettuce, but suddenly it became an obsession. The sight of the crisp green leaves filled her with an insatiable craving. Day by day, her desire for the lettuce grew, consuming her thoughts and leaving her with little appetite for anything else. She began to lose weight, her health deteriorating as she pined for the very thing she could not have. Her husband, seeing her withering away, grew increasingly worried. He loved her dearly and could not bear to watch her suffer. One evening, after she lamented her cravings once more, he took her hands in his and promised, "Don't worry, my darling, I will bring you some lettuce." But he hesitated, recalling the tales of the witch who lived next door. "You know it's very dangerous," he added. "The witch is powerful, and her garden is surrounded by tall walls that no one dares to cross." Determined to save his wife, he steeled himself and resolved to climb the wall that separated them from the witch's garden. Under the cover of night, he scaled the wall and entered the garden, where he quickly gathered a handful of the coveted lettuce. His wife devoured it with great pleasure, feeling a momentary relief from her cravings. However, the handful was not enough. The next day, her husband found himself compelled to return to the witch's garden once more. But this time, the witch was waiting. "How dare you come into my garden and steal my lettuce?" she shrieked, her voice echoing through the twilight. The husband, trembling with fear, explained, "My wife is pregnant, and she craves your lettuce. I didn't think you would allow me to take it. Please, forgive me." The witch's eyes narrowed, and her face twisted with anger. "Forgive you? You will be punished for this. If my lettuce makes your wife sick, she won't be able to give birth." Desperate and terrified, the husband pleaded, "Please, what can I do to make this right?" After a long pause, the witch offered a sinister bargain. "You may take as much lettuce as you want, but only under one condition. Once your baby is born, you must give it to me." The husband, blinded by fear and love for his wife, immediately agreed. Months passed, and the couple welcomed a beautiful baby girl into the world. But as soon as the child was born, the witch appeared at their door, her eyes gleaming with triumph. She took the baby girl, naming her Rapunzel after the type of lettuce her mother had craved. The witch cared for Rapunzel, raising her in isolation. As the years went by, Rapunzel grew into a stunning young woman, her long golden hair cascading down her back like a waterfall of sunlight. To keep her hidden from the world, the witch locked her away in a tall tower deep in the woods. The tower had no stairs, only a small window at the very top. Whenever the witch visited, she would call out, "Rapunzel! Rapunzel! Let down your hair!" Obediently, Rapunzel would lower her long braided hair, allowing the witch to climb up and visit her. This routine continued for many years, and though Rapunzel was loved by the witch, she often felt a deep sense of loneliness and yearned for the outside world. One fateful day, while the witch was away, a handsome prince rode through the forest on a hunting expedition. He heard the sweet sound of singing drifting through the trees and was enchanted. Following the voice, he found himself at the base of the tower. Looking up, he saw no stairs, only the small window where Rapunzel's voice emanated. He was captivated by the beauty of her song and returned day after day, longing to see the source of such beauty. One evening, he witnessed the witch calling up to Rapunzel, "Rapunzel! Rapunzel! Let down your hair!" The prince watched in awe as the witch climbed up the golden strands. The next day, emboldened by his love for Rapunzel, the prince returned and called out, "Rapunzel! Rapunzel! Let down your hair! It's your mother, dear!" At first, Rapunzel hesitated, unsure of this unfamiliar voice. "You're not my mother," she replied, her heart racing. The prince reassured her, "I heard your beautiful voice and wanted to see the one who sings so sweetly." Intrigued, Rapunzel let down her hair and the prince climbed up to meet her. As they talked, a bond blossomed between them, and the prince soon asked Rapunzel to marry him. However, she was trapped in the tower, and they needed a plan. The prince began bringing pieces of fabric during each visit, and together they fashioned a rope that would allow Rapunzel to escape. But one day, in a moment of carelessness, Rapunzel let slip that the prince could climb her hair faster than the witch. The witch, upon hearing this, was consumed by rage. "How could you betray me? I have kept you safe from the evils of the world." In her fury, she cut off Rapunzel's beautiful hair and banished her to a desolate desert far away. That night, the witch waited for the prince, letting down the severed hair. When he climbed up, he was shocked to find the witch instead of Rapunzel. Realizing something terrible had happened, he stumbled backward, falling from the tower. The thorns below broke his fall, but blinded him in the process. Heartbroken and lost, the prince wandered the forest, calling out for Rapunzel, his tears mingling with the wild fruits he ate to survive. His journey led him to the desert where Rapunzel had been cast away. One day, as he stumbled through the sands, he heard her voice singing. "Rapunzel!" he called, his heart racing. The sound of his voice reached her ears, and she ran towards him, tears of joy streaming down her face. When they embraced, Rapunzel's tears fell onto his eyes, and miraculously, his sight returned. Overjoyed, they returned to the prince's kingdom, where they were welcomed with open arms. Together, they faced the world, their love conquering all obstacles. They lived happily ever after, a testament to the power of love and the strength of hope.